All right. Good morning, everybody. Tara Bachland here with the Wifey Wake Up Podcast. Good morning, everybody. We're going to get rolling right away. I've got meetings to get to, so many things to do today on a Friday. I feel like apologizing for my hair again today, that it's still coming out of the extruder the wrong way. So it feels it's totally off. But today's podcast is similar in topic. It is about skincare. I get asked all the time what I do for my skincare. And especially as I get older, uh, I get asked more and more. So I'm in my 40s, just to clarify and set that record straight. And I wanted to also just right from the beginning dispel any myths. Now I've done a number of podcasts, quite a few podcasts without any makeup. I do have a bit of makeup on this morning, but I never do a ton. And what I mean is, I'll have a light foundation, a little bit of powder, just kind of the basics, but not heavy concealer and all that sort of stuff. But also I'm going to dispel the myth that maybe I'm using filters. So I'm using StreamYard right now. And there is an option to touch up my appearance, which is new. And it's actually unmarked right now, unchecked, and I'm going to check it so you can see the difference. And it's thinking. That's what it did. It's, let's see, very subtle, and I'll go up to max. So that's what it looks like when it's very strong. This is what it looks like if it's subtle. And this is what it looks like if there's nothing. So there you go. First of all, or maybe I'll just even do this. I'll go from very strong to turning it off entirely. There you go. So no filters, none of that going on. This is what I do for my skin, an overview. These are the top 10 things. These are tried and true. I've been doing these things for years, and I think the proof is in the pudding, as they say. So first of all, and this first one is like 80% of it. And the great thing is all these tips that I'm giving you, if you do, especially the first few, like the first 5, it is going to dramatically improve your health overall. It's not just going to improve your skin, but it can really improve your health overall. So number 1, of course, is good, clean water, that you're drinking enough good, clean water each day. And what that means is filtered. Otherwise, you are the filter, as the saying goes. And if you want some recommendations, I can do that later. Just let me know in the comments if you want some recommendations. It's an absolute must, whether you're on city water, well water. Each of those have contaminants that you want to avoid. And then you want to drink enough water. And that's in an easy way to reference that is half your body weight in ounces. So if you weigh 150 pounds, that's 75 ounces per day of water. Okay. And that is just, I know it's really hard when you're starting out. I'm going to make this quick today because I've got so many other things to do, but also just want to get to the point. I know it's difficult to start if you haven't been doing that your whole life or even recently. And at first you may go to the bathroom more, but it's amazing. Your body is actually flushing toxins out. And I equate it to, why do you want to drink enough water? It's so imperative. You think of like when you're washing the floor, you fill the mop bucket with a bunch of water, right? You don't just fill it with a little bit. You fill it with a good amount of water so that whether you're using the mop or sponge or rag or whatever it is, when you dump that into the water, you can actually clean it real well. If you only have a little bit of water, that water is going to very quickly get dirty. And it's the same thing for your body. You need plenty of water for it to be able to cleanse. So that is number 1. And I'm speeding through these, but I cannot emphasize enough how important getting enough good, clean water is in your daily routine, not just for your skin, but your health overall is absolutely imperative. And these tips will not only improve your skin clarity and health, but your overall health. Okay, so these are things I've been doing for years, and I get asked often, especially in these videos, what do I do for my skin? So here you go, okay? I'm giving you the top 10, and the top 4 or 5 are really the most important. So 2 is clean food. And by clean food, I mean real food. It's coming from, if you can imagine, you probably are buying it from the store, but if you can imagine it coming from the farm or the farmer's market, that's the type of food that you want to be eating, as clean, as fresh from the ground, from the source as possible. Not packaged, not from fast food, even regular restaurants. So many regular restaurants these days really are using poor ingredients as well, but absolutely avoiding as well as the packaged food, fast food, fried food that will really dramatically impact your skin. If you're like, Tara, I've been eating clean for years and my skin still breaks out, I still have these issues, then the next step in regards to food is doing an elimination diet. The biggest culprits are dairy and wheat. And so you'll want to do an elimination diet to do that. If you need tips on how to do that as well, I've had good resources, just let me know in the comments. The next, number 3, and remember, these are really in order of importance, especially these top 5. Good clean water, number 1, is absolutely number 1, and that's going to take care of 80% of your issues. Then we have clean food, and then I have supplementation. I've been supplementing since I was, actually, I said 19 when I wrote this up, but I also started supplementing around age 18, 19. And it seemed silly at the time. It's like, what do I need this for? But really our food, going back to food, doesn't have the nutrients that it used to have generations ago. And what that does is we're exposed to so many toxins, so many things that stress our body on a daily basis, from our environment to things that we actually ingest to just regular old daily stressors and aging, as we call aging. And if your body doesn't have the ingredients to properly rebuild, it knows how to rebuild, but if it doesn't have the ingredients to do that, it can't, right? And so you might wonder, why is my skin not as elastic? Why this or that, right? So many things. But if your body doesn't have the ingredients to do it, it simply can't. And worse yet, if it goes for too long of a period, not having the right ingredients, not the right building components, right? Then it cannot repair, and that's where disease happens. So again, all these tips not only will help you have radiant skin, but it shows how your body is doing overall, and it will help your body overall. Now, 4th, I get asked usually people are like, what do you do what is the skincare that you use? And that's not number 1. Water is number 1. Skincare is only number 4 on the list, and it could even go lower depending on, what your conditions are. But skincare is very important. I've been using very good products since I was 19. Facial products specifically, not just soap for the body, but specifically products that are for the face. And I've been using those for, a good 20 years now. So that, I think, makes a difference as well. They need to be products that are for the face. And going to step number 2, or the next one, number 5, they need to be for your specific skin condition. So I'm going to kind of blend the 2, number 4 and number 5. You need to know what is going on with your skin. And sometimes when you're in the midst of it, it can be difficult because you can have layers of issues. So for example, since I was a teenager, I've had combination skin, dry, flaky skin, and oily. Now that's tamed down over the years because I've been able to heal my skin, but early on I had to exfoliate because my skin was not exfoliating. So therefore I had lots of flaky skin, and that would be problematic, of course, because I didn't like how it looked, but also it would trap the oils. So where I was oily, that could cause breakouts and just all sorts of issues. So I actually had to learn how to exfoliate my skin, but without irritating it, because so many exfoliators are usually like the scrubs, or a scrubby towel or something like that. And those are not overall helpful. It might seem like it helps in the meantime, but overall I had to learn how to exfoliate my skin without irritating the oil glands, really actually encouraging them to create more oil and causing irritation or microabrasions and so forth in a way that I didn't want them on my skin. So also learning about your skin and going back to products, then you'll have to experiment with products that work for you. If you like to know exactly what I use, I can put those in the comments later. I also recommend going to the Environmental Working Group. EWG.org is a great resource where you can find not only the skincare products, you can research what you're currently using, what you might consider using, and see if they are healthy to use. A quick way to decipher that is if you could, or discern that, is if you can eat it, then it's safe to put on your skin, because as many of you know these days, the skin is your largest organ, and it expels, it eliminates, but it also absorbs. And so whatever you put on your skin, your body is absorbing it. So it's really important that whatever you do put on your skin is something that you could I mean, it might not taste good, obviously you wouldn't consider eating your lotion, but it is something that your body, you could, and it wouldn't harm you. So likewise, if you put it on your skin, like I said, EWG.org is an ever-growing, wonderful resource to research not only skincare, but so many other products that personal care products and in your home. And, to dispel any maybe myths here, there are some products I use that are expensive, and there's some that are rather not expensive that I use, and kind of depends on the occasion and the season and so forth. So you need to find out what works for you. So that's skincare routine, and then also working with your own skin issues. And number 6 is sometimes it just does come down to hormones, and you may have to address them or just accept that that's what's going on. And by accept, I mean, for example, in the natural health realm where I do a lot of my work, check out the Matthew Wood Institute of Herbalism, for example. There's a course about the physiognomy, what goes on in the face, or facial assessment. And one of the things that herbalists will look at, or natural practitioners is what's going on in the face. It gives a lot of clues. And one of the things that you can notice is that, for example, some women, when they're ovulating, they'll get a breakout, on either side of the mouth. And that's just an indicator. That's a clue. It's maybe not something that you'll get rid of, because it's just an indicator when those hormones are spiking. But if it's something that's chronic, maybe your hormones are out of balance, it can also be an indicator for that. And then that is something to address. What I was trying to say is that if you just get a small breakout, once a month, that's not really a big deal. It's an indicator, right? It is showing the spike of hormones, but it's not necessarily out of the ordinary, or something to be concerned about. But where you are getting significant breakouts, for example, and even after drinking water, clean food, good skincare, you're still having those issues, you want to look at the hormonal impact as well. So there are some hormones to address and some just to accept that that's part of it. Number 7, I have listed as sauna, but this could be heat and cold exposure. Sauna, like I said before, your skin is your largest organ, and it's an organ of elimination, like your colon, or your kidneys and urethra, for example, where your body is eliminating toxins from it. And so you want it to be clear. You want to open it up. And if you think about it also, when you take a sauna, you're perspiring profusely, right? More than you ever would normally. And so you have water literally coming through your skin. And if you think about it in just a very logical way, like I gave the metaphor before about washing the floor, mopping the floor, having lots of clean water, being able to rinse out that rag or mop, you're actually getting that really unique benefit that not only can you clean the skin on the surface, but through sauna, you can actually clean it from the inside out. I mean, how cool is that? And you're also exercising the pores. So what I do each day after a shower is, or however I bathe myself, is usually very warm or very hot. And so what I'll also do afterwards is when I get out, I don't usually do like a cold exposure in the shower, and it's just usually a bit much for me. What I've done for years and years is I splash cold water on my face, not just one time, but several times. And I used to do that initially because that was a way to tone the skin, to tone the pores. So they've been opened up in the shower, it's been hot, and then you splash cold water and then it tightens up the pores, right? And you can do that with toner as well. I do additionally use toner as a part of my skincare. But what I learned later is that you have so many receptors on your face that is actually counts as cold exposure. So as many of us are learning about heat exposure, sauna in particular, and cold exposure, like cold showers, baths, the ice baths and so forth, actually exposing your face, your hands, and your feet can, or even just one of those, can be enough exposure to trigger your body to do all the health, the benefits to your health. And I think if you can clearly see it on the face and on the skin, that's a very much an indicator that it's doing its benefits internally as well. So each one of these is a topic that could be just a whole class on its own. So obviously I'm going quickly here. And if there's anything that you would like more details on, let me know in the comments. Number 8 would be tea, coffee, and other beverages, but particularly beverages that are caffeinated, because caffeine is a diuretic, which encourages your body to expel water through your urine. And so if you're already depleted of water, you're going to deprive yourself even more and dehydrate yourself even more of water by using the diuretic. And so it's ever more imperative that you are consuming, you're also taking in clean, pure water for that. And even just try this for a week. Go off of anything except for water for a week. And especially if beverages that are sugary, if they're brown in color, like sodas, which many teas and coffees are, I was amazed at how much even of a brownish grayish tone went away when I do that. And so that's just a nice experiment to try if you're wondering how much your tea, coffee, and other beverages are affecting you. And alcohol as well, of course, is included in there. So it's the caffeine, any alcohol can really, really show up on your skin. Okay, number 9 is sleep. And we've been hearing about this more and more these days, right? How important sleep is. But I think you can see the long-term effect of sleep and, of course, stress on your skin and on your face in particular. And I know sometimes there can be there are periods of time where it's difficult. Your sleep is where, when you sleep, your body does so much repair work. And you can tell the next day, or you can see on someone else when they haven't slept well. And think of that, how that impacts you over time. If you've had many days or many nights where you haven't slept well, it will continue to show on your face. And so if that's something that you're concerned about, it's affecting your overall health as well. So good sleep is really imperative. And number 10, we're firing through this list. And you might be surprised that this is the last on my list, where it might be first on some other people's, but it's sun exposure. And I mean healthy, moderate sun exposure. This, of course, is very important in the sense that when I say moderate, you're not getting burnt. You're not outside in those peak times, especially where the sun is strongest, right? Closer to the border. Closer to the equator. But there are times where, we do still have to make sure that we're getting enough healthy, moderate sun exposure, because our bodies over the eons, over generations, have been tuned to the earth, to these natural cycles, the sun coming up and going down. And if we're inside all the time, we have sunglasses on all the time, if we have sunblock and we're covered up all the time, there are receptors in our body that are not getting the messages they need to do things like, of course, create vitamin D, which our body does create with this sun exposure, and among many other things. And so it's very important that we do get that sun exposure. It's moderate, we're not burning ourselves, and it's appropriate for our skin type. So, and where we live, for example. So I live in Minnesota, which is in the middle of the United States on the border of Canada. So it's quite far north. And during the summertime, I get as much sun exposure as I can in a healthy way. I don't burn myself. But, we go several months without any decent sun exposure. And also if we have sun, it's so cold. I'm not a winter person. And so I just literally soak it up in the summer. And so this is going to depend on your skin type as well. So I'm quite fair. And so I have to be careful as the sun is getting stronger in the summer, as summer begins, or really late spring. And then I just ease my way into it. The darker skin you have, the more sun exposure you actually need. You have the pigment, the melanin in your skin naturally protects you, which is great, but it also means that you need more sun exposure in order to be able to absorb, create the vitamin D that you need, and all the other cascading processes that happen in your body. I've actually worked with a colleague of mine in the herbal realm. Her name is Lori Rose, and we've created, here we go.
Here's your skin browning product.
Oh, nice. That's not really sweet to say. Anyways, beautiful cafezinho from my hubby, which I'll get to in a moment. And so that is something to be, so Lori Rose, we made a sun health class, and it's currently being revamped. So when it's available, I will put that in the notes as well. Free class that you can take and learn about how to safely expose yourself to the sun and your family. So what are healthy amounts? If you do, it is of course wise to cover the body. Clothing is the best protectant, hats and so forth. If you are using a sunscreen, one that you apply, there's actually a recipe where you can make your own, and guidelines also. If you're going to buy a commercial brand, what are some good guidelines to find one that's healthy for you and safe, mostly for you and your family? So, like all of these on this list, it's worthy of at least one class, one couple hour session on this. So I'll put the resources below. Let me know which ones you'd like to know more about, and I'll add those resources there. But there you go. That's my top 10, really, the proven skincare tips, what I've been doing for years. And I think if you're like, I'm already 40, how am I going to, improve my skin? You could be amazed. The body can really do some amazing repairing when you give it the resources that it needs. Number one, water. You wouldn't, if you had a dirty floor, you wouldn't just take a dry paper towel and wipe it, right? Or add the cleaner on top of it and not wash it, right? It needs the proper care. It might even need a polishing. It might need a deep cleanse. It might need some special treatment. But if you want the results out of it that you want, you might have to put a little more effort into it. And it's very much worth it. Once it becomes a routine, it's something that you just do. It's very, very easy to do. And like I said, all these on the list will improve your overall health. And the benefits, are numerous. I can't even name. Each person is going to have their own unique situation. So please comment, let me know what you'd like to hear more about, some more details. Share it with a friend that came to mind you think that would be helpful for them, and connect. I'm on Instagram, X, of course, YouTube, and also available for consultations as well. Just whether it's a quick text, yes, text consultations, isn't that cool? Or a full video meeting consultation. That's at wifeyschool.us or below in the comments as well. We'd love to hear from you. What are your, maybe you have some tried and true skincare tricks. How does the water working for you? That I would love, of course, to hear your results as well, how well this all works for you. All right. As you see, I'm broadcasting maybe to more channels than usual. It's also on my Tara Bachland's channel, as well as Wifey School, because this is a health tip. It's something that we can apply. It's not just for women in relationships. It's for anyone who wants to have a healthy body and healthy skin. All right. So I look forward to hearing from you. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Bye-bye.